Hello and welcome to Steve's Stockwatch. In this video, I'll be going over 3 stocks I'm watching for this week, as well as observing last week's plays. So I mentioned I was bearish on Peloton, and man, was it really bearish. It dropped from around like 116 to under 100 at one point, which is pretty nuts. So if you played any puts or bear call spreads, congrats on that play. SPY was interesting because I mentioned that it was overbought, it was way above the RSI, and I figured that there might be some pressure to pull back. So when Joe Biden announced that tax plan on Thursday, you can see the market really took it and ran, and it dropped pretty quickly, but then it just as fast recovered. My problem with that is that you can see there's a little bit of tension there, and any sort of news that's negative, the market might use to catapult it downward. So just keep an eye out for how sensitive the market's being right now, and as I mentioned before in my Joe Biden video, this tax plan might have some effects on the market. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm linking to it on the top right. I mentioned at the time that Bumble wasn't a good buy at that point, but if you look at the technicals, you can see it pretty much bounced off the support line. So I'm looking for some plays here when it goes above the 9-day, and hopefully it holds above the 9-day. Before we get into the picks for this week, if you could just leave a thumbs up and subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated. Hopefully the YouTube algorithm gives me a chance so I can continue growing my channel. And you know I always appreciate the support, so thank you. Anyway, let's get into our first pick. So my first pick is Netflix. Netflix dropped nearly 10% after hours after they reported that they actually had a decline in subscribers. Now just know that Netflix is a tank when it comes to the streaming service sector. They have a huge 10-year head start on companies like Disney Plus, who is just now getting into streaming services. Also, because of its long-term fan base, it also has some of the lowest churn rate of streaming companies. It's kind of sad how far ahead Apple TV is. That's just one product I never really understood. But that also goes into my next point. A lot of people, when they buy Apple, they're buying into their physical products. Offering Apple TV as a side service to the product doesn't seem to really hold that much weight for Apple TV subscribers. The core of Netflix is built around streaming, so they have a really good head start there. Now, the benefit of a strong subscriber base is that many users have incorporated this service into their normal routines. Unless there's no new content or gets stale, they're likely to already have a watching habit for Netflix. And if a new show comes out and news spreads, people want to see what it's all about. So it's my belief that people have likely built habits that can outlast the pandemic, and there's still growth ahead. So short term, there might still be some fear about the lack of subscribers. The analysts that are bearish against Netflix are saying that they think that, there's not going to be a lot of people using Netflix after the pandemic is over. But as I mentioned before, I think a lot of people are really addicted to Netflix and using it, so I think it's going to stay here for a long time. I feel like it's almost as integrated as Amazon Prime for a lot of families. I'm sure a lot of families have like dinner time around Netflix or, movie nights and things like that. So I really do have hope for it in the future. Now, enough about my feelings. In terms of technicals, the drop I mentioned has caused Netflix to unfortunately break below our 200-day, which is not great news and is not a good buy signal. But upon returning above the 200, and if it does hold above the 9-day, I would consider getting in. But again, remember, when Biden speaks on the tax plan, there might be some choppiness in the overall market, so keep an eye out for that. Next up is Avid or Avid. I would think it's like an Avid user. I don't really think it would be called Avid, but I could be wrong. So Avid is a software used for digital marketing production. I don't expect this to be a massive mover, but it might be good for a few swing trades as it comes back above the 9-day SMA. The growth for this stock is rooted in the demand for digital content and video increasing. Now keep in mind, they have stiff competition with companies like Adobe, who's the industry leader. In fact, the video you're watching right now was actually edited on Premiere. Technical wise, again, I'm waiting for that hold above the 9-day, but it could be a decent candidate for a swing trade. Last up is ING. ING is a Dutch multinational bank. They've been having a nice consistent uptrend, and many analysts think the worst is behind them. While loans decreased for them in 2020, as the global economy recovers from COVID, this could be a good value stock to throw some money towards. Now, I'm not huge on trading banks, but I think their uptrend is nice, so this is something I would consider again for a swing trade. Okay, well, those are the 3 stocks that I'm watching for this week. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know the plays you're watching and why. Also, quick self-plug, if you're looking to learn how to trade options in full, the introductory offer for Rocket Option U remains for the first 200 students to get 10% off the course using code SteveTrades. Details in the description. Well, best of luck this week. Remember, no buying blindly. Keep your entry points and exit points defined and strong. And keep an eye out for Biden's speech. Again, that can cause a little bit of choppiness, so keep that on your radar. Well, I'll see you guys next week. Keep on making great trades.